Well, hi there, everybody. Howdy. Welcome back to the Country Music Time Machine. Right now, we are going to talk about some of the craziest comments I've received right here on this great channel for country music history. We've received thousands of comments. 99% are really cool, but some of those we've received are really, really strange. Some are funny, some are plain crazy, some are in Japanese, and some are just, well, it's just hard to explain. If you love country music, especially country music history, you can join in on the fun and craziness by subscribing and commenting, of course. A warning to start us off, some of these comments are really, really, really...
I thought that was far out. That made my whole day. Far out!
Yeah. So if you are easily offended and don't like to hear me running my mouth, I suggest you check out another channel. We're going to start off with a totally outrageous comment from Marvin. Yep, it had to take a while for old Marvin to write down this. Sometimes when I see these type of comments, I do research them, but as you can see all the black marks on there, it was just too crazy for me, and I'm a clean sort of dude, but I did find out that the Dookie Brothers are an actual musical act. While I may be generally a clean dude, I am not a boomer. This guy said I was a boomer. But if you have watched some of the Country Music Time Machine videos, hopefully you've learned that a boomer was born between 1946 and 1964. I was born in 1968, so that makes me a Generation X man. I guess I'm an X-man. This person also complained, saying they didn't want to hear me flapping my jaws, old ratchet Jack. Well, we'll have more on my flapping jaws coming up a little bit later in this episode. You know, in my job that I do when I'm not doing Country Music Time Machine, I have had the opportunity to travel across most of our fine planet. Along the way, I learned to speak a few languages like Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, even a little bit of Japanese along the way. Now, the Country Music Time Machine has country music fans worldwide, but I think I pissed off a Canadian with my episode on the greatest songs for U.S. Independence Day. She says, "So Canada isn't welcome? Oh, well, I'm a proud Canadian, and I don't mind if y'all love your country, but so do I." Well, I am a proud American. I was born in the USA, but I love the folks in Canada as well, especially Shania Twain. She is the love of my life. I was born in California. Yeah, that's pretty crazy in itself. But 6 months later, the U.S. Air Force sent my dad to Japan. I spent the first few years of my life in Japan, as you can see in this picture right here. 56 years later, someone who speaks Japanese left this comment on the Country Music Time Machine channel. And it says, "Kantori songu wa dore mo samurai yokude ma arimasen. Watashi wa yatori miyujiku ga daisuki desu. Anata no juku ni mai omorai shite amasu emi." Yep, I just slaughtered that Japanese language. The translation is, no country song is a dumb song. I love country music that much. I'm howling in laughter at your jokes too, LOL. Well, the strange thing is that this comment was also left in English by a different viewer. So I really don't know what the heck is going on here. I'm easily confused anyway, so maybe it's all normal. But to all our Country Music Time Machine viewers on that side of the planet, as they say in Japan, konnichiwa, I'm planning to be in Japan in September, and we'll record a special episode there about the worldwide country music phenomenon. And I would like to send out a special shout out to my favorite YouTube channel in Japan. It's this one. You should check it out if you like to laugh a lot. Chris is a funny dude, and maybe he can help me find all those Japanese honky-tonks when I get there. Now, there's no doubt that politics does seep into our daily lives. While I do have my own political views, I really hate arguing politics. I am from the old way that while I may not like your opinion, I will respect it. In country music history, sometimes, whether we like it or not, we have to cover politics, as it does quite often influence country music. Well, Andrew got upset when I mentioned the politically inflamed band formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, as you see there on the screen. But the facts are clear. After the George Floyd fiasco in 2020, the Dixie Chicks changed their name to simply the Chicks. Whether you like it or not, it did happen. And whether you like me continuously running my mouth, that also happens sometimes as well.
Kevin, buddy, we all love to hear you, but how about we dial down the chatter and crank up those tunes? Am I right? Let's keep the music playing and the good times rolling.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Jeep Animal, for that comment. I may not be as old as the president, but I do listen to Enya at night. Is that like white noise? And as John Denver once said,
Far out, that made my whole day.
yeah, these next comments are just far out, man. I remember John used to always say that in concert. I think that was back in the 70s. Here are a few examples of far out comments. Like this one. 420 is Hitler's birthday. Did you know that? Well, I didn't know that. I really don't care. But to be fair, that comment was in response to Willie Nelson's pot smoking habit and those that consider themselves 420 friendly. All right, let's keep it rolling here on the Country Music Time Machine. Here's another one from Cave Cookie. In the 90s, a friend and I had a goofy mechanical horse made out of a 55-gallon drum complete with a 5-horsepower Briggs & Stratton. We decided that the only name we could give it was Flame. Here is a far-out comment from John. Anything by Dick Feller. Now, when I read this, I thought it was a joke. I researched it, and there is a country music singer named Dick Feller. And old Dick is also a very talented songwriter. I'm not going to get into it here, but that is your homework here on the Country Music Time Machine. You need to go out there and Google Dick Feller. That's all I'm going to say. And this next one is really, really far out. I'm so sad and depressed, I don't know whether to kill myself or go bowling. I don't like those reactions on the Country Music Time Machine. When I first saw that, I wanted to respond to the viewers saying, whatever you do, just go bowling, especially with a dude who looks like that. But when I looked at the right and realized it was, I think, a song recommendation for the country music, the Crazy Country Music Song Series. So as any dude who tries to figure out what's going on in the world, I Googled it. But I only got references to suicide hotlines. A similar thing happened when I saw the next comment. Did I shave my legs for this? While many women I have dated have probably said after our last date, after leaving Cracker Barrel, of course, they probably said that. Did I shave my leg for this? But Kathy is referring to the great Deanna Carter song that will probably come up in a future episode on the Country Music Time Machine. Deanna is so pretty. I would probably shave my legs, just for the opportunity to take Deanna Carter to the Cracker Barrel. And speaking of ladies, I have always been surrounded in my life by women. I have 3 sisters. I have no brothers. All my sisters only gave birth to daughters. When I was married, I donated that needed ingredient to bring 4 cool daughters into the world. and of course, bring them to Cracker Barrel every chance I get. You can check out my daughter Gracie over on the Pop Music Time Machine if you like pop music. I think Sandra said it best in this comment. 4 daughters. You, sir, are living in the estrogen ocean. Well, that got me thinking. What would an estrogen ocean really look like? Well, I have no idea. As long as Shania Twain is swimming around in that estrogen ocean, I'll be fine, I guess. There is so much about country music history I love, and there are a few things that I don't like so much. There is one picture in country music history that I do not like. For whatever reason, this picture haunts me. That is the infamous middle finger picture from Johnny Cash. It's on posters, t-shirts, and stickers, and I've always hated it. But I'm the kind of guy that seldom uses bad words. So I guess I'm sort of weak, or maybe like Clark Kent or something. I don't know. But thankfully, not everyone in the world is like me. As you see here on the screen, Johnny loves that Johnny Cash middle finger. But a new country artist would never do that, right? Well, thanks, Morgan Wallen. Yeah, Morgan's pretty crazy. Here's another comment that I found amusing coming from Michael Williams. He says, for years, my password has been BR549.
The number to call is BR549.
Oops. You shouldn't have said that, brother. Shouldn't have said it out loud. Because thanks so much, Michael. I just hacked into your account and I purchased a one-on-one meeting with Shania Twain in Vegas. But I'll tell her you said hey. The next comment is just sad. Comes from Funny Devil 66. Gosh, I'd much rather hear sad songs. Well, Funny Devil, there are plenty of old sad songs on the Country Music Time Machine. I am just not sure I will do a special on sad songs because
I am a wild and crazy.
oh, that one was really bad. Here's a crazy comment from episode 4 of the Country Music Time Machine. I did this episode with a friend of mine from Country Music Radio, Dennis, over at 104.1 The Ranch. The comment says this: your co-host looks like Drew Carey. Come on, does Dennis look like Drew Carey? I'll let Dennis know. And the real Drew Carey is a former Marine. I salute you, sir, and love you for that. And finally, one of the biggest themes of crazy comments on the Country Music Time Machine has been about me. Let me fill the screen with a few of them, so you get the idea of the mood here of some folks. I like the one from Jackie Shepard. I'll put it up right here. Good program, but would be great program if we heard more, even all the song. As you probably heard, I'm trying to do an accent there. Thanks, Jackie. That ain't happening. I usually don't play the whole song. And we all know where Jackie is tuning in from. Probably the way she spelled program there. That's a British English type of program. Yeah, probably the United Kingdom, maybe Canada. Oh, I love the Brits. Even though we busted away from the king over 200 years ago and speak the better version of the English, you know. Haha, cheerio. Seriously, though, I have often mentioned in the comments that the Country Music Time Machine is a channel about the history of country music and the great stories surrounding that history. Quite often, copyright issues prevent me from playing the whole song anyway. The only entire song that I remember ever playing on this channel was called The Shortest Song in the World by Kenny Price. So please just go out and support these artists and go to their YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple Music and show them your love. And now to close things out, here is my favorite comment about the channel or me so far. And this comment wasn't even on YouTube. I found this one over on our Country Music Time Machine page on Twitter or X or whatever Elon Musk is calling it nowadays. This one came from Ange. Ange says, the host could smile a little. He tells us all these funny and crazy country songs, and he looks like a grumpy sourpuss. He looks more like a funeral home director. Wow, Ange. I sure ain't no Brad Pitt, but I'd love to look more like Kiefer Sutherland, the version of Kiefer Sutherland from Young Guns back in the late 80s. But I'd take what the good Lord gave me, but come on, a grumpy sourpuss and a funeral home director? That is funny. All right, that's all we got for you on this special edition of the Country Music Time Machine. There has been a little... Hit it, John.
You guys have been so great. I thought that was far out. That made my whole day.
Whether your comments are good or bad, just keep them coming. Let's keep laughing together, and let's keep loving the great country music. This is Kevin. As always, let's keep it country right here on the Country Music Time Machine.